Right, this is the other side of this lovely, specially made His Master's Voice 78 RPM 12-inch shellac record. This is as I say, it's very rare because it was actually made for the reader himself. It was made for Alfred Neave Brayshaw, that was his name, and he was a well-known Quaker, a writer on the subject. There are numerous books written by him, and he was a public speaker, and he was also quite well known for his poetry recitals as well. So he made this record. It's signed on the other side by him. It was produced in March of 1935, and as I say, you could, if you wanted, you had the money, you could have your own run of records. Usually record runs were done in less than 100, so this is very rare. There won't be many of these left. It was probably produced no more than 99, because otherwise you had to pay tax on production. It was considered to be a commercial enterprise, and anything over 99 records. So here we are, let's have a listen.
The slide, an exercise in strong verbs. The butcher's boy had made a slide in the middle of the road. It was the very longest slide that ever mortal slowed. The baker's boy espied it, and observed, now this is good. I'll have a go at that there slide, and subsequently slid. The village patriarch upon the slippery surface trod, most inadvertently and unintentionally he slod. The Mrs. Smith, though middle-aged, felt youthful taste renewed, glanced round, saw no one coming, and started off and slewed. The curate, passing down the street, remembered that he had some skill in sliding as a boy, and elegantly slid. The doctor followed bravely with a cry of who's afraid, and suffered much from somersault, in agony he slayed. The constable remarked it, well he said I never did, I shall be sliding next myself, which having said he slid. At the end of the slide they all came down on a heap of frozen mud, and sat there and were sorry that they had ever slid, and did not love the boy who made in the middle of the road the slide that was the longest slide that ever mortal slowed. Dives and Lazarus. Did you ever hear of Dives, who lived in Palestine? A marvellous rich man was he, and clothed in superfine. His stable droned with wealth of food, his wine by gallons ran. No wonder he grew sleek and stout, just like an older man. Another man, named Lazarus, homeless and sick and poor, in hope to beg the rich man's crumbs, lay at the rich man's door. He heard the sounds of mirth within, but not a friend had he, except the dogs who licked his sores in silent sympathy. You'll think it strange that such a thing should happen here below, but this was in a far-off land, a long while ago. Now Dives daily feasted and was gorgeously arrayed, not at all because he liked it, but because 'twas good for trade. That the people might have calico, he clothed himself in silk, and surfeited himself on cream, that they might get their milk. He fed 500 servants, that the poor might not lack bread, and had his vessels made of gold, that they might get the lead. And e'en to show his sympathy with the deserving poor, he did no useful work himself, that they might do the more. You'll think it very, very strange, but then of course you know, 'twas in a far-off country, and a long while ago. Poor Lazarus at length became too weak with death to strive. He was evidently not one of the fittest to survive. So on one frosty night about 11:15, he looked up at the silent stars, then died and went to heaven. Now Dives too was waxing old, and presently fell ill, whereon a lawyer was called in to make a mighty will. And when Dives' sons and daughters came to hear his last farewell, he bade them follow in his steps, then died and went to hell. I don't think God would venture now to treat a rich man so, but this was such a long way off, and so very long ago.